Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. As you can see behind me, I'm at the woods right now and I'm hoping to do some cutting for you today. I'm not going to cut any trees down today. The wind is blowing pretty good, so I got to be careful while I'm out here. Even though the trees that are up through here are pretty stable, just got to take extra caution. We've been having 20 to 30 mile an hour gusts at times, although it has calmed down throughout the day. But here where I'm at, the windstorms have been terrible over the last few months. And I don't think I've ever seen so many windstorms. But anyway, the saws that I want to go over with you today is my Husqvarna 372 XP. This is a 2006 original edition model, and this has a highway Titanical 50mm bore kit in it. Ran about 6 tanks of fuel through it with that top end, and so far I've had no issues with it. I even took it to my local dealer to have him do some fine tuning on the carb, and he was really impressed on how well it ran. So that makes me feel pretty happy. I've watched many YouTube channels on where people that have used these kits have had very good luck. I've also seen YouTube channels where the plating has flaked off and they fail prematurely. So I had to keep those in mind when I was buying this kit. And so far I think I've gotten a good one. Right now I am running 32:1 fuel ratio through it, and then probably after this tank of gas that's in it, I'm going to move to 40:1 and probably leave it there. And also the second saw that I would like to showcase today is my Holzfforma G372 XP. Let's see if I can get that on the camera right there. We got that right on the top there. And so I've ran about 15 tanks of gas through this. And I've had to change 2 things on it so far. I had to change the carb on it that comes with it. Had quite a few issues with it. It wouldn't stay in tune. One of the gaskets was not sealing correctly, and it was leaking on the top seal. So I replaced the carb with a Walbro carb. Then also found out that the saw had an air leak, and it was leaking out the decompression valve. So I went to my local dealer and I bought an OEM decompression valve, put it in, and the saw's been running great. But during that time while I've been running it, 2 of the muffler bolts came loose, and so I took those out, had the opportunity to pull the muffler off to check inside to make sure that the piston and cylinder looked great, and so far everything looks great in the inside. And it does look like that this one does have a single ring piston in it. I'm not sure if anyone else has the G372 with a single ring piston, but I've seen many of them on YouTube that's got double ring pistons in them. So I'm not sure if Husqvarna has changed what they're using, if they're using a different piston or cylinder or whatnot. So far the saw has been running pretty good. So other things that I found with the saw is the spark plug was coming loose, so I had to tighten that up. On the bolts that were coming loose, I put Loctite on them just to make sure that those bolts don't come out anymore. And I went around and I checked every single bolt on it. And I recommend, if you buy one of these saws, go around the entire saw and check every single bolt, because they will come loose at some point if you don't. So that's one of the things I learned about this saw. So But let's go in the woods and start cutting some wood with it. So, a lot of trees in this area where I'm working at right now. And apologize that the camera's on an angle here, but there's a lot of uneven ground here. So, we're going to go ahead and start with the Husqvarna. So as you can see, both saws cut really well. My Husqvarna got stuck in that big tree, so kind of had to improvise on how I was going to get it out of there. So let's just look at All right, so I had to stop cutting because both the saws were starting to run out of fuel. And it feels like the winds are starting to pick back up. So I felt it was more safer to get out of there. Both the saws have less than a quarter tank of gas in them. So probably would only get about maybe 15-20 minutes out of each saw, which is all right. As you can see, both saws cut pretty good. Now, I'm not sure why the Husqvarma stalls at idle when it's warmed up. I think that's one issue that I've had with it. I think it might be just a carburetor tuning issue. That's the only thing that I can think. Maybe I don't have the idle set high enough, and when it's fully warmed up, that there's not enough fuel going into it, and that's the reason why it's stalling out. So I know it has no leaks in it. I checked for air leaks, and the only air leak that was in it was the decompression valve. So, but power-wise, that Husqvarma's got, in my opinion, just as much power as the Husqvarna does. Even with the Husqvarna having a highway Titanical top end on it. Now, what would be interesting is to compare both of these saws to a 372X torque. I wish I had another 372 OE with an OEM cylinder in it to be able to compare and see what the power is. And maybe we may get our hands on one of those someday. So if you like this video, please like and subscribe. I hope to be having more videos coming in the future on these power saws, and I hope you have a good rest of your day.
Oh,